Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Jai Jai Radha Madhav Hari Radha Madhav Hari Radhe Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada की जय प्रभुपाद की जय श्रीमद् भागवत गीता की जय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वती व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 4, text number 27. Onwards, couple slokas we will read, about 5 verses. So text 27. Sarva Indriya Karmani Prana Karmani Chapare Atma Samyama Yogagno Junhati Jnana Dipite. Others who are interested in achieving self-realization through control of mind and senses, of all senses and of the life breath, as oblation into the fire of the controlled mind. Purport: the yoga system conceived by Patanjali is referred to herein. In the Yoga Shastra of Patanjali, the soul is called Pratyek Atma and Paraga Atma. As long as the soul is attached to sense enjoyment, it is called Praga Atma. But as soon as the same soul becomes detached from sense enjoyment, it is called Pratyek Atma. The soul is subjected to 10 kinds of air at work within the body, and this is perceived through the breathing system. The Patanjali system of yoga instructs one on how to control the air in a technical manner that ultimately all the functions of the air favorable for purifying the soul of material attachment. According to this yoga system, Pratyek Atma is the ultimate goal. This Pratyek Atma is withdrawn from activities in matter. The senses interact with the sense objects like the ear for hearing, eyes for seeing, nose for smelling, hand for touching, and all of them, uh, all of them are thus engaged in activities outside the self. They are called the functions of the prana vayu. The apana vayu goes, dhyana vayu acts, dhyana vayu acts to shrink and expand. Samana vayu adjusts equilibrium. Udana vayu goes upward. And when one is enlightened, one engages all these in searching for self-realization. तिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Lord is talking about various kind of airs that yogi control purifies the soul, the atma. Others who are interested in achieving self-realization through control of the mind and senses. Mind and sense control is very difficult, especially mind control becomes very difficult. Offer the function of all the senses, and the life breath as oblation into the fire of the control mind. Control mind is the goal of all education. That control mind is possible when one continually think of the Supreme Lord. If one is fully engaged in Krishna consciousness, his mind will automatically be thinking of Krishna. Especially when we do a lot of services, these services directed towards the Supreme Person. Otherwise, even the services that we do becomes a function of the outer material act. But if it is done for the pleasure of Krishna, then everything that we do become like the controlling mind. If you are cooking for Krishna, then that is yoga, topmost yoga. If you are Krishna, that is also topmost yoga. But if we are cooking for sense enjoyment, then that becomes material, and it is not yoga. Yoga means that which connects with the Supreme. And Viyoga means one which is not connected with the Supreme just for sense enjoyment. Senses has a natural tendency to do activities, these activities, unless directed toward the Supreme, will become very difficult to control. Prabhupada gives technical meaning of various airs that use in our body, various air like prana vayu, apana vayu. Apana vayu goes downwards, which is bad. Vyana vayu acts to shrink and expand. Samana vayu adjusts equilibrium. Udana vayu goes upward, which is good. And when one is enlightened, one engages all these in searching for self-realization. Those who are Krishna consciousness, all of their various airs are engaged in self-realization. But others who practice these various Upana Vayu, Udana Vayu, Vyana Vayu, to go through very difficult process. But all of these Vayus, ultimately, if we control, then they uh, give the instructions of the soul, what the soul does and how the soul is. So if we are fully engaged in Krishna consciousness, then all of them are automatically controlled. Let's read text number 28. Yoga yajna tatha pare Swadhyaya jnana yajnasa etaya sansita brata. Having accepted strict vows, some become enlightened by sacrificing their possessions, and others by performing severe austerities, by practicing yoga of eightfold mysticism, or by studying the Vedas to advance in transcendental knowledge. Dravya yajna means money. You spend your money to do the self-realization. Many people do a lot of charities, giving donations to the temple, giving donation to libraries, opening a schools or hospitals. Like these people do. That's called Dravya yajna. You do the money sacrificing for other people's advancement. Yoga yajnas, tapo yajna. Tapo yajna is like, becoming Krishna consciousness. Getting up early when you want to sleep, you give up sleep and get up. That's called tapa. You know, sacrificing your sense pleasure and engaging in the service of the Lord and hearing and chanting. Tapo yajna. Yoga yajna tatha pare. Yoga means various postures. They do various kind of yoga. Swadhyaya is studying the Vedas, studying the scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. That's Swadhyaya. Yeah. This is how various different kind of devotees practice various kind of yajnas. Purport. This sacrifice may be fitted into various divisions. There are persons who are sacrificing their possessions in the form of various kinds of charities. In India, the rich mercantile community or princely orders open various kind of charitable institutions like Dharmasala, Anna Kshetra, Atithi Sala, Anathalaya, and Vidyapith. So these we found in India everywhere, like Vrindavan, there are many Atisalas, Dharmasalas that people come to visit can stay cheap. There are many ashrams in Vrindavan. Vogla ashram, this ashram, that ashram, various ashram. These ashrams are given in charity by various mercantile communities. Anna Kshetra, they distribute food stuff. Atithi Sala, Dharmasala, many Dharmasalas you can find where people build temples and mosques. These are Dharmasalas. They are everywhere because India is land of God. So everywhere you go, you will find these Dharmasalas everywhere. Dharmasala, you don't have to pay much to live there and engage in devotional service. And there are many hospitals, old age homes, and similar charitable foundations meant for distributing food. To open hospitals, like Ramakrishna Mission open hospitals. They are popular in opening many hospitals and others for medical treatment free for the poor. All these charitable activities are called Dravyamaya Yajna, where you spend a lot of your money for the purpose of other people. Dravya Yajna. There are others who, for higher elevation in life or for promotion to higher planets within the universe, voluntarily accept many kind of austerities such as Chandrayana and Chaturmasya. Chandrayana Brata they perform, which according to the moon phases they eat less and various kind of activities they do. Chandrayana Brata. Chaturmasya is fasting from certain type of in which like 1 month you don't drink milk, other fast from yogurt or leafy vegetables. Those are chaturmasya, and also you eat with your mouth and not use your hand. Also, you don't hairs and things. So those are chaturmasya. These processes entail severe vows for conducting life under certain rigid rules. For example, under the Chaturmasya vow, the candidate does not shave for 4 months during the year, July to October. So 4 months without shaving hair, you have to stay. So that's here those who continually shave the hair. Saraswati Thakur and many others used to perform such a vow. Food with mouth, just like animals, not touching by hand, keeping the hair, not cutting it. Like this kind of austerities, if you perform, it has their own benefit. You know, they're all meant for elevating to self-realization. Everything we do, this of Tattvamasya, everything, Chandrayana, they all are meant for understanding soul and for feel soul and super soul. But in a very deep degree that one may not forget anymore for the rest of the life. So that's why these brothels are performed by some devotees, those whose body is like that and who can perform yajna. 4 months. He does not eat certain foods, does not eat twice in a day, or does not leave home. Such sacrifice of the comfort of life is tapomaya yajna. Who engage themselves in different kind of mystic yoga like the Patanjali system for merging into the existence of the absolute, or Hatha yoga or Ashtanga yoga for particular perfections, and some travel to all the sanctified places of pilgrimage. All these practices are called yoga yajna, sacrifice for a certain type of perfection in the material world. So these practices mentioned here are for particular gain in material comfort. If you practice separately, they give certain perfection. There are others who engage themselves in the studies of different Vedic literature, especially the Upanishads and Vedanta Sutras. There are many Upanishads, 108 main Upanishads, and there are Upanishads and Vedangas, Upavedas. So many Vedic literatures are there to study. In fact, there are so much that person can continue studying entire life. Upanishads and Vedanta Sutras are the Sankhya philosophy. All of these are called Swadhyaya, Yajna, or engagement in the sacrifice of studies. All these yogis are faithfully engaged in different types of sacrifice and are seeking a higher status of life. Krishna consciousness, however, is different from this because it is the direct service of the Supreme Lord. Krishna consciousness cannot be attained by any one of those above mentioned type of sacrifice, but can be attained only by the mercy of the Lord and his bona fide devotee. Therefore, Krishna consciousness is transcendental. So these various vratas and yajnas and breath controls are meant for such particular success in material. But Krishna consciousness is different. Krishna consciousness thinking of the Lord and engaging in His service actually surpass all of this. If we are doing that, we are already doing this sacrifice because ultimately they reveal certain knowledge of the soul, knowledge of the super soul. Already knows the supreme Lord and he engages in the service of the Lord every day and he engages in service every day, then there is the perfections are already overcome. So no need to separately do these various kind of agents and sacrifice, charities and various kind of yoga systems. Krishna consciousness is such chanting Hare Krishna and remembering the form of the Lord is a very different, direct process that directly connects with Supreme Person. Right, that we are discussing They reveal the soul's identification, that how ultimately there is a soul. After all these airs are controlled, eventually the life air which connects with the soul, that is revealed. But Krishna conscious person who already knows that there is a soul and the super soul, and he engages in service of the Lord, is higher than all these yogis. Therefore, one thing mentioned here is Krishna consciousness uh, can be attained only by the mercy of the Lord. You may do various sacrifice, many kind of different yoga systems, but pure devotional service is attained by mercy of the Lord. When the Lord really sees devotee intensely wanting to progress in his spiritual life, he gives benediction, he gives the blessings, and by the mercy of the Lord, one can attain Krishna consciousness. Of text 29, apane junati pranam prane panam tatha pare prana gati rudra pranayama parayana apare niyatahara pranan pranesu junati. Still others who are inclined to the process of breath restraint to remain in trance practice movement of the outgoing breath into the incoming and the incoming breath into the outgoing, and thus at last remain in trance, stopping all breathing. Others, curtailing the eating process, offer the outgoing breath into itself as a sacrifice. Breath controls are mentioned here, which is still a yoga process, taking, stopping it for certain time, then again taking out air from another nose. This sort of thing, kumbhaka, rechaka, this sort of thing they if you do, and ultimately stopping all breathing, that kind of process are there. This system of yoga for controlling the breathing process is called pranayama, and in the beginning it is practiced in the hatha yoga system to different sitting postures. So at the beginning you start with some yoga, just like nowadays people do some exercise in the name of yoga. So you start with that, and then eventually comes to the breathing control. All of these processes are recommended for control the senses and for advancement in spiritual realization. Basically, when you control the breath, they tend to, the goal is to control the senses. Our senses, eyes, nose, ears, tongue, they have various desires, and to control them, you do the pranayama system, you control the breath. Control senses and inspiration. This practice involves controlling the air within the body so as to reverse the direction of their passage. The air, one air goes downwards, one air goes upwards. Upwards is for spiritual advancement, downward is for material sense enjoyment. So practicing these various breath control is meant for advancing in life, advancing in spiritual realization. So air has to go up, not down. The apana air goes downward and the prana air goes up. The pranayama yogi bring the opposite way until the currents are neutralized into puraka, equilibrium. Equilibrium, both, not the one that goes down, he controls and puts it in the middle. Upwards also keeps in the middle. Upward, ultimately, you choose a particular movement, like yogis can check out their life here from the top of the head. So those are practiced by such people, but keep in middle in the equilibrium so that spiritual perfection is staged. The pranayama yogi practices breathing the opposite way until the current are neutralized into puraka equilibrium. Offering the exhale breath into the inhaled breath is called rechaka. both air, when both air currents are completely stopped, one is said to be in Kumbhaka Yoga. By practice of Kumbhaka Yoga, one can impress of life for perfection and realization. So here we see how this breathing is for increasing the life. Suppose I supposed to live 60 years. If I practice this pranayama system, I will live for 100 years. If you know perfectly. So that's what says pranayama param balam. If you perfectly understand and practice this pranayama system, you can live for long life. India. Some say that they have lived for 400 years or 500 years. They practice this sort of thing. They can live for a long duration. They cannot live for forever, but you can increase your lifetime by controlling this breath, understanding the breathing process, the pranayama system. It's really effective. Even today's world, people practice this sort of thing. The intelligent yogi is interested in attaining perfection in one life without waiting for the next. We have to finish everything within this lifetime. We don't want to reincarnate and come back and do the same process again because material world is always full of misery. There is no happiness here. So continuing to another life is a just waste of time and difficult situation only, and we don't know. That's why finishing in this lifetime is becomes the topmost goal. But to finish, one may sometimes needs to live little longer. You have to chant more, you have to realize Shastra more, and then only Lord also takes that devotee to the spiritual planet. So to do that, sometimes we have to stay a little longer in this world. Although devotees, whether they live or they die, they are usually taken care by the Lord Himself. If you should live a little longer, then you should practice this pranayama life. But these are not easy. Controlling the air inside the body and keeping them in equilibrium is very tough processes. But if you learn it, it's just a breath. If you learn it, then life will be longer. Or by practicing Kumbhaka Yoga, the yogi increased the duration of life by many, many years. Very clear statement. A consciousness, however, being always situated in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, automatically becomes the controller of the senses. These senses being always engaged in the service of Krishna have no chance of becoming otherwise engaged. So Krishna conscious devotee fully engaged in the service of the Lord, cooking for Krishna, chanting for Krishna, everything he does is all for Krishna, and then he's automatically uh, Krishna. And Lord also increases his life. Devotees live long life also. People that long, 40, 30, but devotees usually live 100 years. You know. So Krishna gives long life for devotees who engage with Krishna. So at the end of life, he is naturally transferred to the transcendental plane of Lord Krishna. The spiritual planet of Lord Krishna, transcendental plane of Lord Krishna is at the top of the universe. 1,000 petals are there. Brahma Samhita gives the direction how it has 1,000 petals. Our universe, how many petals? Our universe, not Earth planet, but entire universe is 7 petals. 7 oceans, 7 islands. They are called 7 petals. But the Lord's abode in the spiritual planet is 1,000 petals. So how big it would be? Very huge. This universe, which has only 7 petals, nobody can describe fully. It is so huge. Even Sukadeva Goswami explains, even one gets the life of Brahma, still it is hard for him to describe everything that is in the universe. It's very huge. And this universe is only 7 petals. Whereas the Lord's abode, the Krishna Loka is 1,000 petals. So it is very huge. That's where devotee is transferred. Sometimes we see so many devotees, how Lord would keep him there. But it is a very huge place. 1,000 petals. These 7 petals, so huge, nobody can describe fully. So big is the universe, which is only 7 petals. And 1,000 petals would be very, very huge. So there is no scarcity of place for the Lord. And devotees, all Krishna conscious devotee, whoever is serious, will be transferred to a spiritual planet because there is no limit of the place. Very huge. And also there is Vaikuntha Loka, which is also 1,000 petals. So very huge places. In fact, three part is the spiritual world, one part is the material world. The spiritual world is very huge. This Jagat, Jada Jagat. The spiritual planets are all eternal life, and this Jada Jagat is all mortal. Whoever takes birth must die. We don't want to stay in mortal area, we want to go to the spiritual Jagat. So that is transferred to the spiritual planet. He is naturally transferred to the transcendental plane of Lord Krishna. Consequently, he makes no attempt to increase his longevity. He is at once raised to the platform of liberation as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Mamta yoga vicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatitaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in unalloyed devotional service to the Lord transcends the modes of material nature and is immediately elevated to the spiritual platform. So one fully engaged in Krishna's service with his mind and body, mind and intelligence fixed on the Lord, he is at once transferred to the spiritual planet. The three modes. Everybody is hunted by three modes. Now I am happy, next moment I am unhappy. This is called the modes influence over living entities, which continually makes one struggle. Goodness is good, but passion and ignorance always becomes difficult. It puts person to ignorance. But Krishna conscious devotee at once transcends three modes. He is in the spiritual level. He is not even in Sattva Guna. Person is at once transferred to the spiritual planet. As for others, overcoming the three modes becomes the most difficult. Constantly, a Krishna conscious person begins from the transcendental stage and he is constantly in that consciousness. Once you know Bhagavad Gita, you start engage in devotional service, then he automatically transcends the modes and he is eligible for liberation. And he is constantly in that consciousness. Therefore, there is no falling down and ultimately he enters into the abode of Lord without delay. Abode of the Lord is our goal. We are suffering, material worlds are all suffering. Lord, there is no suffering. Every walk is a dance, every word is a song. So such a place we all desire. Why we want to suffer? But to go there, we have to be fully convinced in the knowledge of the Lord and full-fledged engage in the service of the Lord. If we do that, then when time comes, the Lord will decide which devotee is to go when. When He decides that time, our full body will be awarded, and that spiritual body goes to the spiritual planet and lives there with the Lord's associates. Of the Lord without delay. The practice of reduced eating is automatically done when one eats only Krishna Prasad or food which is offered first to the Lord. Eating is such an important thing because eating can uh, spoil devotional service. Atyahar prayasa. If you overeat, then devotional service goes down. If you eat non-veg, devotional service goes down. Devotional understanding goes down. So Krishna conscious devotees 24 hours eating Krishna Prasada Always food offered to Lord and all vegetables and fruits, nothing with the animals. Uh, this Krishna Prasada automatically uh, makes one Krishna conscious, spiritual consciousness, and that uh, reduce automatically done when one eats. The practice of reducing automatically happens when you only eat prasada. The prasada is spiritual. Control your eating because automatically makes that adjustment. Food which is offered first to the Lord. Reducing the eating is very helpful in the matter of sense control, and without sense control, getting out of the material entanglement. Sense control are very open, it perceives anything. Engaging in bad activities is easy, but controlling them and engaging in the service of the Lord becomes hard many times. But if we eat Krishna Prasad and remain in association of devotees, then it is automatically done without much endeavor. Of devotees eating Krishna Prasad only, speaking only about Krishna and hearing only about Krishna, these things are full Krishna conscious. It's the ultimate yoga, last of the yoga system. You know, all these various sacrifice and many breath control and many things that listen. Becoming Krishna consciousness ultimately. Everything is meant for always thinking Krishna and always chanting his name and always engage in the service of the Lord, which is the top yoga. Mamsa yoga vicharena bhakti yogena sevate. One who engages in bhakti yoga, he automatically overcomes every other yoga system and he is raised to the spiritual platform. Brahma bhuyaya kalpat. He is spiritualized and he stays in the spiritual atmosphere. One who engages brain and intelligence fixed on the Lord, his only goal is to praise Krishna and his devotees and nothing else. Certainly is elevated to Brahma Bhuyaya, the transcendental position, spiritual position. So we read more? Okay. The verse is still others who are inclined to the process of breath restrain the to remain in trance, practice by offering the movement of the outgoing breath into the incoming and the incoming breath into the outgoing, and thus at last remain in trance. Breathe. Others curtailing the eating process offer the outgoing breath into the self itself as a sacrifice. Yeah. We read here. Oh, it is 4th chapter 29. Yeah. श्रीमद् भागवत गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.